Welcome students. Today we will learn acquisition section, how it performs in a library. I am Dr. P.K. Bhattacharya. I am Senior Fellow and Associate Director in TERI, New Delhi. I will take you to how exactly every library do their acquisition process. So if you see how exactly libraries are doing acquisition, so our course outline today has been giving you an idea of how exactly we do it. So first of all, we need to know understand how and where, when we do library acquisition and what is the procedure like, the selection process of books and what policies we follow, and method of library acquisition we will know, and then accessioning policies and processes also. Through different examples we will try to learn today. Now, what is acquisition? If you see by the actual definition says that acquisition is the process of developing library collection by selecting, ordering and receiving documents. It is also a process of collecting books or non-book material by different modes such as purchase, exchange, gratis, membership and many things more. Now, what exactly it basically telling us that whenever a library does collection development, so it exercises certain systematic process. So that process we call as acquisition. Now, library do have their hybrid collection development process. So our acquisition is also hybrid in nature. Hybrid means we also collect different hard copy as well as different documents in soft copy form. Now, in order to know what exactly is part of acquisition system, now for any document whenever library purchase based on their parents objective, parents objective means parent organization's objective. So basically a request or a need generates, and based on that need library actually start inquiring that where from they will get those documents, and then when document comes, so they select that documents, acquire that documents, and then after acquiring that they actually start checking and verification that document, and then accessioning these documents, and then send it for different other book processing thing. Now, till accessioning is the part of acquisition that contains several procedure including negotiation with the purchase document. Everything comes under the acquisition section's domain. Now, if you see what activities acquisition section perform, first of all they plan which document to be procured and when to procure. Then their selection process, they do selection, and then acquisition or procurement of actual document. After selection that actually comes to the after access, and then accessioning done and make this as a library property, and then bill processing. Functioning, if you see that document selection, procurement and actioning, these three are the main function of any library acquisition section. What library actually procure? If you see that they procure printed and non-printed both type of document, books and non-books material, and as well as printed and non-printed or electronic database, etc., everything. So that I have given you in a complete way how exactly these are, what are the type of different system. Now, it may so happen that your library or any of the library may not procure everything or may not keep in their collection everything, but some are definitely conducting this. This is a general document. Now, why this acquisition is required? Because library have to collect document, maintain document for knowledge percolation and knowledge enhancement of the parent body, parent organization. So different type of libraries differ in their information needs, and accordingly their need generated by the users. So based on that their acquisition process changes. Now, ascertain the need of this user community. Now, whenever a library procure any document, that is just to fulfill users need or users requirement or meeting organization's objective. So that is how ascertaining the need of user community is important. Select documents that have potential to satisfy user needs. So that's what I was mentioning, and then documents are selected from different publications, publishing house. They could be national or international, different commercial vendors, different institutions, different organizations, government bodies and whatnot, and in the form of print and in the form of electronic document also. So this is what exactly the library acquisition. Now when you see the ascertaining, how exactly you will ascertain users need. Study of objective of mission of the parent organization, that is important, because that will actually help library to prepare what kind of documents they should keep in the library. Study suggestions received from different user groups. It could be in a academic environment, it could be your teachers, it could be students, both, and of course the governing body also. Then study information received through survey questionnaires. Whenever you are surveying users, so you are getting some recommendations from users as well. So that is actually another way of ascertaining users' need. Then study of syllabus of the course of the study, means based on those syllabus, if your library do not have any document, so you have to purchase for academic excellence of your parent organization. Study the research projects and programs, and for carrying out those research projects and programs, you might be requiring certain documents in the form of database or statistical data or something else, or book, journals, so that we will procure. Then library provides several SDI service to different people, that is selective dissemination of information. Now from there you can actually get to know interest area of users, so from there you also can ascertain their needs. And then nature, history and culture of the user community. So this is a proactive approach that actually help identify the user's need. Now then comes the documents. Once your user need is done, then you are requesting for different vendors, different organizations. You are developing consortia, developing different taking memberships of different organizations, and you are actually collecting different documentation. Document selection procedure you are doing from there, because large amount of gratis as well as purchase documents will be coming. So you will be doing document selection thereafter. Now selection is done taking into account the funds availability first of all, space availability. So if you do not have funds, so naturally you are not going to purchase many things. Similarly, you should have space to keep them. Then user requirement should be increasing, and as per Ranganathan, that books are for use and every book has its user, but at the same time you have to understand that optimal usage of your money should be there. So increasing user requirements, so as many users will be asking for a document, so you will be very considerate for purchasing any such document. Then library book selection policy should be there. According to that you will be collecting the books, and in support from the library committee, so that this book selection policy as a broader aspect, you should have maintain the quality and of the existing library collection, so that it improves further. Present and anticipated users need you will be doing, and then current budget position you also will have a severe impact on the book selection policy. Actual policy framework will however vary from library to library, because not all library give importance on specific policy components. Now purchase documents will be how library does their book purchase. So that is a separate section you will already might have been studying, and in this course also we will have a separate section on this. Now when you see the document selection process, so in the selection there has a planning component in it, and there is a process component in it. So, in the planning aspects, you will actually, after ascertaining user demand, you will see the funding availability, and you will see that how exactly you can arrange those funds and allocate those funds to purchase different types of documents. In the procedure part, so once the books are delivered maybe on approval, or you receive from exchange or gratis or any other forms, so you have to scan them and you have to select them accordingly, you have to record them, consult with the other experts if they think that this book has value or not before purchasing any such documents, and then thereafter you are actually doing the indenting, passing of this document to the billing section for purchasing of that book actually. So, this here I have given two pictures which actually show that how libraries are conducting their book exhibition, where library users come and they actually see how exactly these books are books are evaluated, and they are scanned actually by the experts. Resource selection, there are certain guidelines normally library follow. In case of Dury's principle, right book has to be given to the right users in a right time. So, that is a very important guideline we follow. In the Dewey's principle, largest number of users should use a book, so that you have to optimally use your cost. And Ranganathan says that books actually comes in three categories: Amra, which is most relevant; Penumbra, which is not so relevant; and alien documents. Now, for Amra, definitely library purchase those documents. Penumbra, you may or may not purchase, or you can actually be little limitation there, and alien documents you can depend on other libraries because that may be their Amra. Now, public and special libraries, if you see that they have follow and academic libraries, so they follow different selection policy. Now, public library, what they do, that they have a different user group, varieties of requirement, versatilities are there, cultural and social difference and education levels are also different. So, as a result, some are coming in the public library for recreational purpose, some are for educational purpose. So, public library have to develop their collection accordingly. Now, selection policy accommodate these diversities in any public library system. Now, suggestions from readers, definitely they are also, when the library committee sits, so they do take into account this kind of book selection suggestions, and then selection committee and librarian plays a very key role in this particular thing. In case of special libraries, it's a specialized resources are normally being purchased. So, here librarians and library staffs are also getting more or less acquainted with the special interest of the organization. Similarly, specialists, they recommend much more compared to the and diversities are comparatively less in this case. However, types of documentation are definitely varieties types of documents are getting purchased. It normally in small proportion compared to public library or academic library, people are purchasing those things. Librarians have direct contact with the specialists so that they get their suggestions, and bulk of the library collection is in the form of serials. Serials means here we publish more of a e-journal, e-books, e-documents, e-databases rather than the hard copy form. So, that is the present trend now. When you come to the academic library perspective, so school libraries, college libraries, there faculty, rather school teachers, they take more priority, as well as students also help them to get more documents recommended for their own purpose. So, they play the dominant role as well. Now, college and university libraries, when you see that they are normally either have homogeneous type of collection. So, they are teaching programs related to UG, PG courses. So, all Documents are basically catering to that kind of need in this case. And heterogeneous point of view is like different type of subjects they are researching, different type of documents they are purchasing. So both type of homogeneous and heterogeneous type of documentations are getting purchased by the university and college libraries. The selection of books is a mix of publication of local, international bodies and national, international, all type of documentation we purchase. Some are databases, books, journals, statistical data that we purchase, patent standards, then reports. So that are actually part of your document selection policy as well, both in the form of print and electronic. Now, when you see what are the type of different kind of selection criteria, students, you will find that there are certain basic guidelines for all types of documents, like authority of the creator, means the author, what is his standing, how reputed personality he or she is. So that actually give us a perception that this book may be of excellent quality. So that is first of the selection criteria we follow. Reputation of the publisher, like ABC Publishing and Springer or Elsevier. So that these are big names. So we simply cannot believe that Springer will publish a trash document. So that is the reputation of a publisher. So such type of publication from a reputed publishers are normally getting an easy access. Then scope of the subject of the book, that is broad or limited, means whether your book is dealing a broad subject area or very specific area that it's dealing, and whether you need a broad area or a smaller area. Level of treatment, that is whether that is a general people you have written, or you have written for a very specific or specialist people. So accordingly you will purchase it or not. So that is decision librarian or the library committee takes. Arrangement of the matter provided in the book, it should be systematically, logically sequencing of different chapters should be there. Thought clarity of the authors, compactness of the book, then index, facts, figures, everything should be there. Geographic coverage is another important, and also as language, because if you are looking for Indian data or Indian perspective, and you are not certainly going to purchase a international book, rather you will be purchasing a Indian author, books written by an Indian author. So, and if you are if your library or your work is in English language, so mostly your book will be in English. Rest, you can have a very minuscule number of books in different other language, but mostly you will go for English language books. Now for e-resources, there are certain more component you have to think, like content should be complete with examples, illustrations, appendices, everything should be there. Frequency, how fast and how regular your CD or your database is getting updated. Access, how many people can access, and what is the condition of access, how long they will be accessing. So that is a licensing agreement, or you can say access control facilities, etc. you have to sign before you actually, or rather during you procure the books, so or books or database. So that access is very important. User friendliness is very important, because user interactivity is key word today. So your database or e-resources should have user friendliness, and so that user can retrieve documents very easily. Retrieval should have high precision value and efficient. High precision here means that the correct documents are getting retrieved more and more compared to the noise. So less noise and more precise documents are getting retrieved from the from your databases. So that is what is expected. Supporting is an important criteria. Now you have purchased a software or hardware and you are not getting enough support, so that is the last thing we want. So whenever you are subscribing to any databases or any electronic resources or any software, so you are purchasing the AMCs with that as well and expecting regular support from the corresponding organization. Cost is one important factor, because ultimately libraries are always running in a strict budget. So different type of cost models and cost optimization is important. And cost model, if you see, there are pay per view model, deep discount model, bundle price, where you have to take many resources together, pick and choose. You can choose only one document or 3 documents, so that's the way you can choose. Either you can go for print or electronic, both have different value. Somebody likes print documents, so there are enormous benefits of electronic document as well. So reference sources, normally we take electronic format because that can be referred by many. Classics and textbooks are normally in print format we procure. Serials are in both format, means there are Indian serials which are available only in print medium, so that we purchase, as well as electronic database, e-journals and data sets we purchase in electronic format. So both way you can say that in this particular time, libraries are more or less their acquisition system is going for a hybrid nature. Now tools what you are using, so there are several tools. Addition of new publication, if you want to find out what are addition you can do in your library system. So then you can see different national bibliographies like British National Bibliography, where you can get trade catalogues and several books, Indian books in print listed. So that also you can get. Review journals, at the end of that review journal you will find lot of resources, primary resources list. So that is one important criteria you can actually see that review journals can provide you. Directory of serials will lead you to which directory, which serials you should purchase. Advertising material help you what databases contains what. So basically you can find out what you need to purchase. Publishers website, Amazon, etc., that also give you addition of new publications, scope and better scope. Similarly, for old publication, printed catalog of old libraries, you can see that what others have purchased. So you can also purchase those same things. Standard subject bibliographies which are available on the net or in soft copy form, hard copy form as well. So you can go through those bibliographies and can think of purchasing any document, and all those catalogs from different books and booksellers are providing to you. Electronic databases and catalog of booksellers. So these are actually your selection aids and tools you follow. Now when you, after selection comes your method of acquisition. Acquisition through purchase order, membership, exchange agreement, gifts and deposit system. Now out of this, purchase order will be taken in detail in a separate module. So I have just touched upon a bit in this. Now in case of purchase order, after you get document request, so you are asking for you are checking your library system whether that is there or not. If it is there, so naturally you are not going to purchase, else you will put forward your request to the corresponding publishers, and those booksellers, publishers, they will give you some books on approval. So you can take approval from your library committee or the user who is actually will be using it, and then ask the publishers to deliver this. Once this book are coming to your library, so once that book receive your library, you verify their correctness, their bibliographic details, and you write it in your accession number. So this is the entire process I have shown you in this diagram. So which actually in an automated system also, manually also, as well as in automated system also, so you are actually following. Now in a museum or library, the same thing goes in detail also. Acquisition if you see the, so tendering, quotation, everything is part of your acquisition system. Standing order is something that we regularly in the beginning of the year we tell people to submit to us books, to provide to us several books on approval, you can say, and out of that you can actually, in the other methods of acquisition, so different organizations take memberships, so that of different societies. So the society actually publish documents, so these comes to library and they are getting acquired in library system. Similarly, for exchange also, our organization have several network system, maybe in a consortia form, so they are actually in a exchange agreement, whatever publications are from our library goes to different other libraries, and we also receive their publication as well. So in this way it gets enriched, our library gets enriched. However, not everything to be in both the cases through membership or exchange agreement, or even in case you are thinking of gratis, not all you are required to accession in your library system. Many are getting rejected as well. Now in the gift systems you can, and this gift and deposit systems are more of a similar nature, right? Different international, national organizations and government ministries, they identify several libraries as research organizations that of research organization, that you be our depository or you receive our all gifts. So those gifts are coming on a regular basis to libraries, and library process them and keep it for users access. So this is how actually family of eminent personality, they also provide you gifts. So these are also to be actually evaluated, and after evaluation if you find relevant, then only you take them in the acquisition system. Similarly, deposit system, like TERI is a depository library for IEA, that is International Energy Agency, UNDP, World Bank. Similarly, IGNOU is also for UN and World Bank publication, they receive all these things. Now there are certain problems we face in acquisition. First of all is the demand and supply. When we demand something and we don't get it, so that's basically the problem comes. And several of this problem comes from local book suppliers, they do not have access to those books, and international book, they come at a late, after a long time. So these are few areas which are of immediate concern for anybody who is associated with acquisition. Otherwise, question, there are some out of print or rare books are also there. Now once this book are acquisition, means when you acquire this document, so then your accessioning starts. In the accessioning, you see the quality, recency and duplicity of the documents, value to your library, and then you actually accession them. Now accession, for accession you get books from purchase books, as well as books from the gifted, or any e-resources you are getting. So everything you actually accessioned, or based on the requirement of your library, and every organization library should have their accessioning process defined. So whenever any accessioning is to be done, so the books which are ordered, when they come to library, so it comes along with the bills. So those bills are processed after accessioning is done. So each book, in that case, you are actually looking for its defects, checking presence of inserts, whatever is there, and bibliographic information you are putting in there. So this is how accession registers are mentioned, and several bibliographic details you put there. And this is another accession register for serial mentioned. In your different database, you can mention your accession number of the books, and accession process, when you do accession process, you will find that that accession number needs to be put in the top verso of the title page as well as in the back space, and when you are doing barcoding, it should be printed both in the spine as well as in the top of the in the front cover of the book. So if you are doing anything for journals, so then bound journals have different accession number compared to the loose journals. So that's how accessions are done. So these are some examples of how accession numbers are put in different part of the book. Similarly, for gratis, you have to segregate gratis as per the policy of your criteria of your organization, and in such case some are normally rejected and some are considered as a temporary gratis. For your temporary purpose, you will be keeping them in your organization, and some are specifically for larger use and longer use, and they have a separate accession register to maintain, beginning with GR. In TERI library we maintain like this. So this is how accession process is done, and this is how accession cards are prepared for books. CDs are accessioned differently. Similarly, you can develop a accession documentation format also as in Koha. I believe that after going through this, you will be very well in understanding how and what to process from different libraries, from the perspective of different libraries, be it your public or academic or special libraries, and how exactly you in your acquisition system processes are being carried on from the perspective of users access point of view. So with this, I complete this particular module for your understanding. Thank you.